Welcome back to Simply Living It. My name is Jamie. I am a stay-at-home homeschooling mom of 3 boys, and we have been homeschooling for 13 years now. And today's video, I want to talk about homeschooling, of course, because I could talk about homeschooling all day, every day. And what encouraged this video that I'm sharing with you today, I have all my notes here. I have been talking to a friend who is preparing to send her kid to public school, kindergarten. This is her first baby, and this transition is a huge transition. It is a very real transition. I remember this. I remember being in her shoes. Also sent our oldest to public school, kindergarten, for 6.5 weeks. I was not homeschooled. If this is your first time to our channel, I was not homeschooled. My husband was not homeschooled. This was a new adventure for us, a whole new endeavor. And to be honest, I didn't even have a relationship with the Lord at that point in time in my life. And so it wasn't even something that we prayed about. It wasn't something that we really sought God's will for our family in this decision to homeschool. And that's a whole nother video that I would love to go into in a whole separate time, because this one, I can already tell, is gonna be, I have a lot to talk about. I have a lot of things to share. And I wanna talk about what I would do differently, because this conversation with my friend has sparked all of this reflection in me and in our homeschool journey to look back and reflect at how I did things and what I would do differently. And while I know what we have done is our story, it's our homeschool story, it's actually his. It's his story, because this is his, right? Like, our lives are his. And when you surrender all of that to him, it just sits differently. But at the time we decided to homeschool, I did not have a relationship with the Lord. So now, coming at you after homeschooling for 13 years and knowing what I know now, and knowing and trusting God the way that I know and trust him now, that I had no idea about when I first started homeschooling, that's what we're gonna talk about in today's video. Homeschooling, of course, what I would do differently, what I would change, what I would keep the same, what matters in homeschooling and what really doesn't, in our opinion, in my opinion, in our journey, in our story. So that's today's video. I'm here, still drinking my happy juice. I'm a 1.5 months in, I think, now, and I shared that in another video. I love this stuff for gut healing. It's prebiotic, probiotics, cortisol lowering, energy boosting, all the things. I share it on Instagram, but I don't do it a lot here, so just want to share. There is a link in the description box down below. Normally I sit here and drink coffee with you guys, but this is mango. Again, it's my new love for right now, mango happy juice. This coming homeschool year, I will have a junior, a freshman, and a 6th grader that we will be homeschooling, our 3 boys. And so I've got a lot of time and a lot of energy and a lot of planning and a lot of organizing and a lot of researching and a lot of prayer put into this homeschool journey of ours. So with all that, knowing that this is, he is using our homeschool story also as part of writing his story, right? So I have a hard time going back and reflecting and changing things, because I know it's all for a purpose. So just hear me out on this. If I could do that different, some simple things I would do different that I think would really take a lot of the stress and heartache and burnout out of my life if I just had done it differently. Obviously, our story would look different, so I know that. That's not the point. It's just my encouragement to a new homeschool mama, or to a mama on the fence. If you have a mama on the fence about homeschooling, share our channel with her. I hope that there's something here that could encourage her or help her, because I was that new homeschool mama once too. Now, this is 100%, this is it for our family. Everybody's story is different. Everybody's journey is going to be different. I'm not against public school. It is your decision for your family. Seek God in that and his will for your family and for your life. For ours, this is it. And I'm so passionate about it for our family. For our family. So remember that. This is a no judgment. I was public schooled, so is my husband. All my family members are. I get it. But for our family, for our story, this is our story. And that's why I share all of it with you. So looking back, what I would do differently, so many things, mamas, so many things I would do differently. I will start out with the very first thing that I think I messed up on was trying to imitate public school at home. And I talk about this, but I cannot stress it enough. There are so many new subscribers here on this channel that come and go. And if you hear something from this video, take that homeschooling is not public schooling at home, especially kindergarten. It is not 8 hours a day sitting at a desk with books homeschooling your children. Kindergarten is so simple. Kindergarten is math, basic math. Get your kiddos in the kitchen, have them get some measuring cups and bake something together. Talk about recipes, talk about measurements, maybe get out a textbook and some flashcards and do some basic addition and subtraction. Get out your phonics and do maybe like some all about reading or some Abeka K5, like phonics and language stuff. Like, it's so simple. Other than that, get out and play. Do art with your kids. Do a read aloud with your kids. Let them read to you. Let them practice. Like, that is kindergarten. I was so wrong in what I was doing in kindergarten with my oldest. And luckily, like, thank God, I learned my lesson. So when my next two came, I was able to soften up a lot in kindergarten, first and second. Like, their homeschool early ages looked nothing like what it did with my oldest because I didn't know. I did not know what homeschooling even was, what it was supposed to look like. I took my public school education experience and brought it into our home. And you hear about deschooling your children, like if you pull them from public school and bring them home. I needed that for myself. As a homeschool mom, I needed to be deschooled because I thought what I was supposed to do is exactly what was done for me. And that's so not true. And I cannot tell you how many tears we had. I followed the teacher's guide to a T. We used Abeka. I love Abeka. I think it's very strong and it's very solid. But if you're homeschooling, you need to keep in mind that that particular curriculum is made for like a private school, I think, or like a school setting, not a homeschool setting. So if you purchase the whole kit and you get all of it, that's gonna be a full day's worth of work. So keep that in mind. Me personally, for kindergarten, not a full day. We would start with chores. Give your kiddos a chore list. Have them start helping around the house with certain chores and daily duties and different tasks. Give some responsibility, some accountability, but also let's dip our toes in the fun learning. But don't forget like art and science and all the super fun things you can do too, because if I could go back, that is one thing I would do different is I would I was so quick to hit the books and the curriculum, which yes, you need that. But kindergarten, guys, I was hardcore in kindergarten. Not necessary. We cried. We had so many tears. It was a struggle. I thought for certain that was going to be it. Like, there's no way I can homeschool my child. And I believed so many lies. That's number two. That's the second thing I would say. You have to truly find your why for homeschooling. I don't know where you're coming at and where you're at with like your identity. If you struggle with identity like I did and still honestly on occasion do, if you have any issues with that or struggles with knowing who you are and knowing who God is and knowing that He has a plan and a purpose for your life, for your home, for your family, and that it may not look like anyone else's, it's yours, and that's okay. He's writing His story through you and your family. If you can quiet all the noise around you and all the lies, like thank God, praise God, the enemy no longer attacks me in the form of homeschooling because I am so certain, without a doubt, this is what we are supposed to be doing for our boys. Like if you can get to a place of absolutely believing, I believe in homeschooling now. I doubted it before. I doubted that this homeschooling thing could even work. I doubted that it was even a thing. Like, really? We can do this and it works? Like, it works? Whatever that means. I believe that this homeschooling thing works, and we have been faithful. God has been faithful. I have seen what He's done in our home and in our family, in our boys and their education, and He has taken what we have brought every day faithfully, and he has blessed it beyond measure. And it has been an incredible journey for our family. I'm so obviously passionate about homeschooling. I know not everybody has that opportunity. I know not everybody is able to. I know not everybody maybe is called to, and that's okay. But I'm speaking to those of you mamas who might be on the fence, that might think they want to, but they're not really sure. They're kind of scared. They don't have the patience. That's a lie. I don't have superhuman patience either. I'm just going to say that. That was a lie I believed. I can't homeschool because I'm not patient enough. I can't homeschool because I'm not smart enough. I can't homeschool because I don't know everything that I need to know, right? How am I going to teach them everything that the public school would teach them? Well, guess what? I'm not. And guess what? That's a beautiful thing. Because for one, that's not in my power. And for two, I don't want to teach them everything that the public school system is going to teach them. I want to teach them what my husband and I want to teach them, and what we're passionate about, and what we love. And then I want to cater to what my children are interested in. Because as a homeschool family, you actually get to do that. So don't forget that. Don't neglect that. So looking back, I would find it's different because now I have the confidence that the Lord has given me in homeschooling, and I didn't have it before because I didn't know him. I was lost. I was scared. I believed every single lie that the world told me. And we started homeschooling before it was a thing, before it was a huge movement because of COVID. We started homeschooling 13 years ago. Life looked different then. Now it's more acceptable in the world to say you homeschool, and people are like, oh, good for you. It wasn't that way. We would go to the grocery store and why aren't your kids in school? I'm like, we homeschool. Oh, yeah, we got the looks. We got all the looks. Now you go to school, or you go to you go to the grocery store and people ask, why aren't your kids in school? Do you homeschool? Whoa, what? Yeah, we do. And people are actually excited and are like, good for you. If I could go back, I would have done that too. It's like, whoa, huge whirlwind of a shift, which is beautiful and wonderful. And I think it is such a time to be alive and to be able to do this. But for me, so much of that confidence, I didn't have. I did not have it. I didn't have that confidence, and that, I'll just say conviction, because I believe that is it for us. We will not obviously switch to public school and high school. I have two high schoolers already, and we're riding this out. Lord willing, we are riding this out. So I'm very passionate about it. And I've seen what homeschooling has done for our family. I've seen what homeschooling has done for families around me. So truly sinking into your relationship with Christ, your relationship, and confidence that he gives, praying about your decision to homeschool. I didn't say a single prayer about our decision to homeschool. I told you that because I did not have a relationship with the Lord. So I didn't even know. That this was something to pray about, that curriculum was something to pray about, that our schedule was something to pray about, that the decision to or not to join a homeschool co-op was something to pray about. I just went through the motion. But when I finally realized and understood that God does have a plan and purpose for our family, there was so much confidence that came from that came from him, that I was lacking for so many years in our homeschool journey. So if you've not prayed about your decision, if you have not gone to him and sought him and his plans for your family and for your life and for your curriculum that you will bring into your home, that is one of the most, if not the most important decisions and things that I would say I would do differently in this whole entire lineup. Because I can give you all of these things, but without him, none of these would have happened. I wouldn't see it differently because I would still be stuck where I was. I wouldn't see things the way that he has given me the eyes to see things, because I see it differently now. I see the whole picture instead of this little box. So that is huge, mamas, is just to encourage you to seek the Lord in your homeschool, just like you do in your marriage, in your life, in all of it, because it matters. He has an opinion. Our first year, seriously, was a bust. My very first year homeschooling was a bust, and I cannot say that enough. There was so much of me that was so lost and so skewed. My vision of homeschooling was skewed. My idea, my thought, my belief. I didn't even believe that homeschool could work. I just was doing it because our family was kind of like pushed into it for a year, and I was just going to homeschool kindergarten. That's all I was gonna do. I'm just gonna do kindergarten. Guess what? My oldest is going to be a junior, and we're still here doing this beautiful thing. And I'm so grateful for it, and I wouldn't change a single day of it. Even our hardest day, our biggest struggle, I wouldn't change it for a single thing. It has been an incredible journey for our family that I'm so grateful for. Pray about your decision to homeschool. Pray about your curriculum. Pray about what you bring in. Pray that the Lord would give you confidence. Pray about every single ounce of it because it matters, and He hears you. I would definitely keep it simple. Kindergarten is kindergarten, mamas. If I was to start all over again, those early elementary ages, why did I bog us down with books and books and books? And I'm talking curriculum, like probably 5. The whole entire Rebecca kit, I had all of it, and we did all of it, and it was miserable. It was absolutely miserable. Yes, it was solid, but it was miserable. I would change so much about how we went about that. I don't need to follow a teacher's guide. I learned that early on. Teacher's guides and I do not get along in the early elementary ages. Now, there are times that they are needed. Yes, I do believe that. But early on, no. Believing that He will equip me because I know He's called me. Once I discovered and realized that He called me to homeschool, trusting and believing in who He is and that He is faithful and that He will equip me because He has given these babies to me to raise and to train, to my husband and I to raise and to train, and trusting that He will equip us to do so. A beautiful thing. So much freedom found in that. There's truly so much that God has done in me over the course of these 13 years that it's so hard to just put it in a quick little video and sum it up for you guys. I would love to sit down and talk with all of you on the couch over a cup of coffee because there's so much that He has done that I can't even put into a short video on what I would do different. So talking about trusting the process, seeing the whole picture. Again, in the beginning, I just saw 1 year at a time. I was doing 1 year at a time. What do I have to do to keep him up to par with the public school system so that when we send him to public school next year, he'll be right where he needs to be? That was my mentality. I so wish at times that I could go back and do that over and find joy in it so much more than checking boxes, because that's what it was. I was checking boxes based out of fear. I was afraid that I wasn't going to do what I needed to do to keep him up to par where he needed to be so we could send him to public school the next year. I was homeschooling out of fear instead of homeschooling in freedom because I didn't know what that was. Pushed too hard early on because of that. Because I was homeschooling out of fear, I pushed too hard early on. Do you see the theme here? Like, all the freedom that He has brought into our homeschool, the beauty He's brought, the joy, the life that He's given back into me and our children in our homeschool. And it encompasses everything, but this is just homeschool specific and what I would do differently, what I feel like I had so wrong. But I can look back at it and see every single piece and every single detail of His handiwork through it all, which is so incredible to me. And it's so crazy to think back to 13 years ago, Jamie, where she was and where I'm at now. And the confidence that I have, and I can tell you that confidence is from Him, and that's why I have it. There are some areas that I would love more of that confidence, but homeschooling is not one of them. I am very, very, very confident in our decision to homeschool our children and in what He has done and how I've seen His hand bless what we have done and multiply what we have done, because that's what He does. I would love to have sat longer with him, read more books, spent more time outside. I go back to where I was in that season of life. I was not an only child, I had another child and was pregnant with one. So I was in a very different season of life than I am now also, which plays a huge part of it. The different seasons that we go through affect our homeschooling too. Where I'm at now, looking back, I wish I could have just, like, hindsight is always 20/20, but sit and just play with them a little more and hug them a little longer and enjoy picnics a little bit more and park days, because it's beautiful now, but my babies are older and it looks different, and they're off right now doing their lawn mowing jobs, and I'm sitting here in my home listening to the birds and sharing this story with you all. Hugging them a little longer, holding them a little tighter, picnicking more, play days more, bicycle rides and adventures and baking together and all of it. So much more than all of the books and the curriculum that I stacked on for kindergarten. Okay, that's what we're talking about. If we're starting at the very beginning, kindergarten. When it gets older, when they get older, it looks different, and you do have to add on extra things, and it does get to be a little bit more structured. But kindergarten, first, second, third grade, mamas, enjoy those years with your babies because it goes so fast. I can't believe we are where we are right now. And I hope that something I've shared in this video encourages you, even just to fall on your knees and give it to him. Because I promise you, he cares. I promise you, he's in it. I promise you, he will take what you bring faithfully every single day with what you have, and he will multiply it. He will bless it and he will multiply it. That's what he does. He is so good and he is so faithful. And there are so many times I've gotten it wrong. And there are so many times, just like in my notes here, that I can tell you, I wish I would have done this different. I wish I would have done that different. But his grace covers all of it. We show up faithfully every day. We do our best. And his is the rest. Show up. Get your schedule, get your routine down, whatever that looks like for you. Homeschooling styles, I still don't know. I think we're eclectic. We kind of use a little bit of everything. My kids, the way they learn is a mixture of all things. They love visual, they love audible, they love, we're just a mixture. We're a mixture of all things. We're not in a box. We don't fit in a box. Just like homeschooling does not fit in a box. Neither does our learning style or type or homeschool style. We do everything and all things, and we love everything and all things. That's just the way it is. That's the way we do it. Our schedule, we time block our schedule from 8 o'clock until noon. And that's what we do. That's our homeschooling time, book time, co-op homework. That's what we do. The rest of it is life and learning and living and loving and serving together. That's homeschooling for us. Does it look the same every day? No. It looks very different every single day, especially with teenagers, but it's beautiful. So going back and reflecting, sit and snuggle and picnic and love and walk and read and draw and bake, all of it. Because you're going to blink your eyes and they're going to be teenagers and it's going to look different. It's still beautiful. It's so beautiful. I love it. I absolutely love it. But don't rush. Don't go too far, too deep, all in, too fast. That we miss some of the simple joys and simple beauties in every single day life as a mom with our babies. I did. I pushed too hard. I went too fast. I thought I had to do all the things. I was homeschooling out of fear instead of homeschooling in freedom. What I have to share with you in today's video. I'm curious, am I the only one who during their homeschool journey has homeschooled out of fear? I would love to hear from you in the comment section below to know that I am not the only one who can say, yeah, I wish I would have done that differently. And I'm grateful for all of it, for all the years, for this story that he's writing through us. And I hope that it just encourages at least one of you out there that let us not homeschool out of fear. but let us homeschool in freedom. Show up faithful every day. Seek Him. He will bless it. He will multiply it. Yeah, that's what I have. I love you all. Thank you so much for being here for another video. I will see you again very soon. Yeah.